Hello, good evening. My name is Janalyn Unipig. I am the daughter of Rosemary Calitero Unipig and Godofredo Peralta Unipig. It's very important for me whenever I walk into a space and I introduce myself that I also acknowledge my most recent living ancestors. Because I believe that when we do that, that we also invite all of our ancestors from way back in ancient time to be with us here as well. That they're the link to all that makes us who we are. So, Raise Pinay is not a show that is a regular theater entertainment piece. You're not gonna be here watching a group of young women who are here to wow you and do spectacle. What it is a space of ceremony. And what I mean by that is that I'm gonna take a seat because I just feel like I want to be able to see and feel you all a little bit more. And that's very important. When we started working on Raise Pinay in 2016, the idea was to raise money for Roots of Health and to provide a connection to women in need in the Philippines. But what it really became was a space for sisterhood and the building of it. And to be able to do it again with a younger generation is such a gift. We were able to sit and be ate to these phenomenal young women who are here courageously sharing their stories with you. And so what I ask of every single one of them is to really connect with them in ceremony, in a sacred space of storytelling and of sisterhood, in a space of remembering. Because that's what they're doing here, is that they're remembering who they are. The world that we live in right now asks us to be everything but what we were and who we truly are. And so every single time that we sat and met with each other, it was not just for rehearsal, it was also so that we could see each other again, so that we could see ourselves again, and we could remember how to hold ourselves again, how to hold each other again, and how to love each other again. So, as you are here engaging with these young women, I ask you to breathe with them, to laugh with them, to maybe cry with them. But mostly, I ask you all to remember with them. So, are you all ready for them? Yes. Thank you so much for coming here and supporting and holding space. I really hope that you are able to be moved and transformed in the way that they have in their sisterhood.
Tao po. Tao po. Tao po.
Tao po. I come home, and my shoes aren't the first thing I take off. I take off the mask I've created for the world to see and enter a house that never really felt like a home. And I am invisible. Living with people who have bipolar symptoms, I learned how to be invisible, to protect myself, to separate myself, to be emotionally unavailable, to be in avoidance, to be numb. I felt out of place at the table because I'm opposite of them in so many ways. They're the lives of the party, and I sit and wait until we can leave. They lash out, and I hide behind closed doors. They're not religious, but I continue to have strong faith. But if there's one thing we have in common, we don't show affection towards each other. I love you is not said in this family. The thought of even saying or hearing this from them makes me uncomfortable. My mom is not my best friend, and neither is my sister or my dad. And I always thought that was normal until meeting so many other people who confide in their families. But comparison is the thief of joy, and I'm searching for that joy as I grow and see myself in them. And the love is there. I just have to remember.
To be a good Filipina is to be a good Catholic girl. To be a good Catholic girl is to follow the Word of God, to follow the ways of the Church, to follow the commandments, to not speak back to your parents or ask questions.
Hala, who taught you to talk back like that?
We didn't teach you that. To not be indecent in dress.
Walang hiya, you have no shame.
To not use foul language.
Ay, anak ko, huwag kang mag-isip.
To not have a boyfriend until you are older.
He's only your friend.
To have a boyfriend because you are older.
Why are you still single? Where's your boyfriend?
To not have sex with your boyfriend until you are married.
Bastos!
To have a boyfriend. One boyfriend. No girlfriends.
Are you gay?
To serve the men in your family, to serve your husband, to serve your sons. To be a good woman, to be a good wife, to be a good mother. To be a good sister, to be a good daughter, to be a good granddaughter. My Lala Rosita and mother raised me to be a good Catholic girl by being good Catholic women, good Catholic Filipina women. And as I grow into a woman myself, parts of them still live in me, the Catholic parts. I have shame, I have guilt, I stay silent, I keep secrets, I pray and pray and pray, and also the Filipina parts. I have convictions, I have doubts, I stay obedient, I keep questioning. It feels like a contradiction, right? It feels confusing. It doesn't feel good at all. It feels like I was never supposed to be a Catholic girl. I am a Filipina girl who was raised to be a Catholic girl. I was taught to be a Catholic girl. I was expected to be a Catholic girl. I was told to be this before being a Filipina. Like my mother was taught by my grandmother, like my grandmother was taught by her mother, and hers, and hers, and hers, and hers. And she was told by them. They told her. The priest did, the missionaries did, the colonizers did, the men who killed our men, our women, mothers and daughters did, the men who killed her mother did, the men who killed the many women who held truth of raising up Filipina girls. Filipina girls who were more than just good. Strong Filipina girls, powerful Filipina girls, brilliant Filipina girls, divine Filipina girls. I was raised to be a good Catholic girl. I was raised to be a good girl. But at my root, I am, and always will be, a Filipina girl.
My dad has not been on a plane since he left the Philippines 35 years ago. This man works 7 days a week when he can, with a full-time and 2 part-time jobs. He does not dare take vacation days because he feels the guilt of not being able to pay for his daughter's tuition so heavily. But he always offers the last piece of ulam, acting like he's not still hungry. If that ain't love.
Like you, generous of my time like you, I act like you, I react like you, I'm passionate like you. Learn all about my culture from you. Learn to respect all my ates and cuyas and titos and titas and ninos and ninongs from you. I am strong like you, I am assertive like you, I am determined like you. I am also aggressive like you, I am selfish like you, I am angry just like you. I accept less than I deserve because of you, and I'm used to a lesser love because of you. I take any emotion I can get from people so long as it is not anger because of you. I believed you when you told because you loved me. You wanted the best for me, which wasn't you. I listened to my own mom tell me that I should be used to this by now because that's what she had to do with you. Now I take any apology I can get from people and still believe they love me because of you. I learned to accept apologies I've never received because they sound just like you. I know you think you know what's best for me, but believe me when I say no you don't, or maybe you did but you can't know anymore, and I love you still and I love you always, but I'm tired of being Daddy's little girl in all the best and all the worst ways.
My mom is the most talkative person I know, and she's not afraid to be brutally honest.
She works through her pains and sicknesses just to spend the extra money she has to buy me things that she thinks I'll like, even though I don't need it.
She always made sure I was caught up with the series because crying together during an episode was our only bond. And she does not hesitate to pack some baon for my boyfriend. If that ain't love.
They say I look like my mother. Growing up, I never wanted to be like my mom. I know she'd be hurt if I ever said that to her, but that's how I felt. As a child, I was scared of my mother. Only the bad memories of her punishing me were the only things that came to my mind when I thought of her. I didn't want to be like her. We weren't the same person. I didn't see the resemblance, and I don't think I wanted to.
When I came to America, I was only 14, living with my father and stepfamily whom I'd never met before. I missed my mama and sisters back home in the Philippines, but I knew that being here in the US was an opportunity. In school, I was a foreigner and I was bullied. The cheerleaders would make fun of me due to my strong accent.
What are you saying? I can't understand you. Speak better English.
I would watch those channels like MTV and try to copy the clothing styles and dances that I saw.
Because we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl. Because we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl.
I would also practice words in the dictionary to help with my pronunciation. Gallivanting.
Duracinate.
Advocacy. Advocacy.
Advertisement. Advertisement.
Vernacular.
Comforter.
I didn't like the thought of my mom changing herself in order to impress others. No one should have to do that to his or herself, to conform to other people's standards just so that they could fit in. I wouldn't say that my mom and I share similar lives. However, some of the challenges we went through are exactly alike. One of those challenges was bullying and how it made us want to change ourselves. I didn't grow up around Filipinos, let alone Asians in general.
So once I began to go to school, I became a target to get teased. I was teased for how I looked, how I was different from the rest of my classmates, but my last name was the focal point of all that teasing.
Hayden McIntosh, present. Paige Smith,
Here.
Madison O'Connor, here. Brittany Tunac,
Tunac. That's not my last name, and I am not a fish. I tell them that, but they didn't stop. The bullying bothered me to the point where I wished my ethnicity was different. I wanted to change myself, just like how my mom did when she was in high school.
Ugh, please.
I
just want to look different.
Why am I so short?
What are all these dots on my face?
My eyes are too damn small.
I am so hairy. My armpits are so dark.
Why is my head so big? Why is my nose so flat?
I wanted to fit in. I wanted to look like everyone else. I wanted to be like everyone else. I just hated my own self. In the beginning, I said that I didn't want to be like my mom. I didn't see the resemblance that my family saw, and I really didn't want to. But from our appearance, to our personalities, to the bullying and reinvention of ourselves, we're practically alike. I'm just like her. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm proud to be like my mom. I'm proud to be her daughter. I'm proud to be me.
My parents grew up with a double-digit amount of siblings. My dad with 13 and my mom with 12. If they were able to support a larger family, I'm sure the dynamic would be so different. But instead, I have one sister who hated me for many years. Whenever we fought, my parents would yell, "You only have each other," which was true. She was the only one who knew what it was like under this roof. My ate was my roommate for most of my life. Because of her rebellious years, I was able to do whatever I wanted. Although I never asked her for advice, I learned so much from being a witness to her actions. She always seems to have her life together, despite the tragedies she's experienced. So she unknowingly set an example for me to follow. But I know what she's been through, and I carry my sister's pain with me every day. If that ain't love.
I think of you, Ate. Ate. My tongue grapples with the unfamiliar bend, the new shape it's learning to take. Ate. My throat pushes open to new air inside of me. I am learning to let it fill me up. Ate. I look for you, Ate. I miss you, Ate. Would you be proud of me? Ate, would you have done anything differently? I am the first and only daughter of my mother and father, the eldest of all my cousins. I was raised to be an ate, everyone's ate, everyone's role model, teacher, babysitter. The word ate has never been uttered from my own mouth, only from those around me, to me, until the truth about my family was revealed. When my mother's sister was 17, she was raped by her boyfriend after attempting to break up with him. This rape fruited into a baby girl, but she was never really born. In an effort to save my family's reputation, my grandmother forced my tita to abort the baby girl. Against her will, she took her to a manghihilo, and the next day, she bled and bled and bled. My angel ate was buried underneath Mama Mary's statue in my grandmother's garden altar. Today, she would have been 22 years old. Ate, my sister, are you here? What story would you share? What story would your mom share? Will this be her only telling of you? She lost a daughter, and you lost a mom the day Mamu forced you to die. Your mom lost a mom too. Did Mamu lose a daughter? My cousins, myself, a sister, ate, I have so many questions. How could this trauma be held in the bodies of women in my family while still continuing to hold each other? How beautiful, painful. My mother allowed me the chance to still love my Mamu, and I still do, even after the learning of this truth. In fact, I want to embrace her. What happened to you, Mamu? Once a teacher of children, a sister, a daughter, when did wealth and reputation become interchangeable with your own daughter's dignity, your own granddaughter's life? If my mom was younger, unmarried, improper, would I be the one buried under your petrified, forever standing Mother Mary? Would I have just been a corner of altar in your majestic garden?
Dear Mama, I remember the way hardship seeped in your veins, holding a life in your stomach, trying to keep sane. I remember the way your eyes looked, the way your hands felt, as if you're holding the world in your hands. Dear Mama, I can't remember ng aking mga salita ang mga dumi sa iyong luha. Dear Mama, I can't remember being alone. I can't remember why your warm, loving hands found its way to my cheek, found its way to my throat. Bakit, Ma? Bakit mo sinaktan ako noon? Dear Mama, I'm sorry I couldn't be the daughter you wanted me to be. I'm sorry I couldn't hold your dreams in the palms of my hands. I'm sorry your world ended up too small. I'm sorry your big hopes and dreams couldn't fit me at all. I'm sorry for raising my voice, speaking as if you didn't matter. I'm sorry I ever told you that I didn't want to be your daughter. Dear Mama, patawarin mo ako kasi nakalimutan ko paano magmahal sa iyo. Forgive me for not knowing how to be your child. Forgive me for speaking too loud. Forgive me for every word that came out of my mouth. Dear Mama, thank you for caring for me. Thank you for being patient and kind. Thank you for being my mama, for teaching me to keep my head up high. Thank you for accepting who I am. Thank you for making my dreams yours. Thank you for sending your love in outpours. Dear Mama, I will always love you. Even if sometimes I'm pickled. Because mahal na mahal na mahal kita. Forever and always, as your anak.
My parents never gave me a car, but they gave me these legs that can withstand hours and miles. They gave me these countless Nunels that forms a map on my face and serves as a constant reminder of where I've been and where I'm going. They planted me in a city and told me to water myself. They didn't give me much guidance, but they gave me independence. If that ain't love.
When I was growing up, I never quite fit the mold of what I thought a Filipina should look like. What my titas would tell me a Filipina should look like. I wasn't small or slender, and I couldn't fit into a size 2. I had thunder thighs before they were in. I was thick before being thick was desirable, before thick, T-H-I-C-K, became thick, T-H-I-C-C. Growing up, I quickly realized that Filipinos can be so blunt about your weight. Each time I visited the Philippines, I was reminded that I was getting bigger, but not necessarily in a good way. I was 9 when it really began.
Ronnie, what is that you're eating?
You need to go on a diet.
No more of the fried foods for you. And don't eat so much of that rice. If you keep eating like that, you'll just get fatter.
You just need to exercise more. You'll be thinner. I was never overweight, and I had an active childhood. I was just a chubby kid. It had to have been genetic because my brother, he was the same way. Except I never got as much slack as he did. I started to slowly believe that my identity, all that I was just a number on the scale.
Ronnie, you need to lose weight.
Ronnie, you need to stop eating all that junk food.
Anak, what did you do to gain all that weight?
And what are you gonna do to get rid of all that weight?
It's not attractive to be so fat.
You're fat, that's no good.
My memories of my extended family are fond, but riddled with these nasty jabs at my body. Needless to say, my ideas of body image were skewed. It was instilled in me from a young age that I was not meeting the standard of what a young Filipina should look like. Years later, I started lifting weights in the gym. I started lifting heavy, and I realized I liked it. So much so that I fell in love with the sport, and I started competing as a powerlifter. The concept of body image had been twisted and etched into my brain by everyone but myself. This is why I needed the barbell. It allowed me to love myself and to see my body serve a purpose. We as young girls are taught that the only good direction for the scale to go is down. The barbell teaches us the power of gaining weight for strength and to be concerned with the weight that matters, the weight that we lift. We are taught that we're supposed to be as small as possible and to take up as little space as possible. We are taught to eat delicately and to eat food as sin and indulgence. The barbell teaches us to adequately nourish our bodies and eat food for fuel. We are taught to cultivate this charming physical weakness, and we soon believe we are weak. The barbell teaches us how strong we truly can be. A couple months ago, a tita of mine messaged me on Facebook after seeing a picture on her feed.
Ronnie, you're getting heavy again. Please find your weight. Also, give my regards to your parents.
I cried for a solid half hour after this. This little message from my tita was a reminder of how far I had come and how I no longer derive my self-worth from an arbitrary number. Yet, the message still stung. I know now that loving yourself, it's not a finite journey. You are constantly affirming yourself each and every day that passes. I've come to appreciate my body for being strong and how strength in itself is beauty. Since starting my powerlifting journey, I realize now that this is what my body was meant for. And while a Filipina can be small and slim and petite, I am also what a Filipina looks like.
I am what a Filipina looks like.
I am what a Filipino looks like.
I am what a Filipino looks like.
I am what a Filipino looks like.
I am what a Filipina looks like.
I am what a Filipino looks like.
You take away the layers of love, and at that core is a Pinay who finds strength in the struggle.
I carry the stories, the many names and faces I will never know. But my awakened spirit assures me that I'm allowed to heal, to grow. I understand that it is my body, my choice, and now my voice deserves to be heard. And if I
feel defeated, I can look above, because my tribe got me. If that ain't love.
Late night, all alone with you, I noticed the stars far away from the city in a secret location. The spirit in the air that burned the whole nation, but we did you in the store. Your heart was forsaken. I'm here to rectify that. We done waiting and back. I'm compensating for the days that we lost, hoping for the very moment that I make it across. Back in your arms, the only place I feel I belong, with a million folks behind me, all singing along. So fly.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Justine Angfonte, and I am Rochelle Perez Ocampo. And we are the founders of the 2016 Race Pinay 2 years ago, and are so excited that our baby from 2016 birthed another baby in 2018 to bring you these amazingly powerful 7 college Pinays. Can we please give them another round? All the proceeds for the show goes to Roots of Health, which is a nonprofit in Palawan, Philippines, with the mission to foster self-reliant women, young people, and families in Palawan. Really providing clinical services and health education to lead healthier reproductive lives. So thank you so much for all your support, whether it be sitting in the seats or buying raffle tickets. Really, it's all for the mission of Roots of Health. I joined the board as a board of directors 6 years ago, and the board decided to do fundraisers every year that didn't really connect its donors to the people in the Philippines. And after I had met Rochelle and JL, I said, we can do better than this. We can do better than a carnival, a bowling night. Why not connect the stories of the women in the Philippines with the women here in the United States? And inspired by all of the narratives that are out there, yet never make it to the stage, never make it on media, I wanted to see narratives that resembled my own experience with women that looked like me, and we never get to see that in the media. So the 3 of us decided to come together and bring 14 women from New York City to produce our very first Race Pinay. And then 2 years later, we had it birth another child, with having the millennial generation now taking that on and sharing their own narratives. So it's important for us to have our narratives shared and represented, but also recognize that the 14 that started aren't the only 14 that are out there. It's now an additional seven, and hopefully other communities will also want to mobilize and create and build and also heal from their own her stories, the ancestry that has provided them with that power to be uplifted by. And we are so excited to be here tonight to see this, and also for the second show tomorrow. And a part of connecting all of that is part of that fundraising. And this is your last opportunity to contribute via the raffle. And so there will be ushers coming through the aisles if you wanted to still donate further with any of the vendors that have contributed. And to remind you how much those raffles cost.
Yes, so we accept cash and Venmo. So please be generous with your pockets. It's one ticket for $5.